There's been some pretty major news coming out for 7 days surrounding the announcement it will finally be leaving early access after 12 long years of development. But what does this mean for the future of the game and the state of the latest update previously known as Alpha 22? The Fun Pimps have announced that Alpha 22 will now be known as version 1.0, marking 7 days' exit from early access and entry into full release, bringing with it a whole slew of questions to be answered about the future of the game and its development, as well as some criticisms regarding missing Kickstarter features and the long-awaited bandits and story content. In a video and FAQ post put out by the developers, they stated the release of 1.0 will also see the price of the game increase to $44.99 USD, which is a pretty steep price increase from the cost of entry PC players have been used to up until now. But it is being implemented to maintain parity with the experience of players buying into the new console edition of the game. From an optics standpoint, it does make sense to bring the PC price up to match that of the console release, as it would probably look quite bad to continue selling the PC version at a considerably lower price point in comparison, so the increase to me at least is understandable. With this announcement, the Fun Pimps also shared a roadmap detailing plans for the future of 7 days with some tentative release periods, as well as upcoming features and content for the years ahead. I'm sure that this roadmap is going to be extremely divisive and lackluster to many in the community, and I've already seen some pretty harsh criticisms of both the roadmap and the decision to release Alpha 22 as a 1.0 build over on Reddit. The roadmap schedules the release of 1.0 on PC in June, with the console edition following closely in July, giving us about 2 months until the update finally drops, and details for the plans for a further 3 updates post-launch: Storms Brewing, a new threat, and the road ahead. Storms Brewing seems to focus on a weather and biome progression systems overhaul, bringing with it a new wardrobe system and activating crossplay and random generation features for console edition set to release in Q4 of 2024. A new threat will supposedly add bandits, though I don't personally hold out too much hope for this, as well as a new quest type, UI and menu systems overhaul, and a new event system, which is scheduled for release in Q2 of 2025. And finally, the road ahead, which will reportedly include a trader overhaul, the long-awaited story mode, Steam Workshop support, and another new quest type, releasing in Q4 of 2025 as well. I'm very tentative about this release schedule, as the roadmap suggests these updates at most are only roughly 6 months apart, which, given the previous release schedules of alphas having taken 12 months or more, seems optimistic at best. I'm also somewhat disappointed in the next 2 years of updates being primarily overhauls to existing systems, leaving little to look forward to in the long run. But I'm sure there's loads of other additions like POIs, albedo variants, etc. not included in the roadmap graphic too. I'd be interested to hear what you think of the roadmap and the scheduled features to get a gauge on how the community is feeling about it, so leave a comment and let me know. Diving into the FAQ, there's a range of topics that have been covered, mainly focusing on the console edition, but there are some for PC players as well. For PC players, the launch of 1.0 won't really change much. If you already own the game, the price increase is going to be irrelevant to you. You'll still receive all the updates as you have been over the past 12 years, and you'll also still have access to previous alpha versions through Steam like normal. The Fun Pimps will also still be putting out experimental builds for you to try out updates a little bit earlier too, and for new PC players the buy-in price will be considerably higher compared to the massive discounts we've seen in the past. Regarding console edition, 1.0 will be the launch build of the game and will be pretty consistent with the experience PC players can expect from the latest update as well, though there will be some delayed features, at least at launch, for console. Crossplay has been confirmed between PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, though it doesn't look likely to be included at launch, with the FAQ stating they are waiting for certification approval to fully implement it. It suggested the feature is hopefully being added with the first update to the 1.0 build following shortly after its release. In terms of the old console version of the game, often referred to as the legacy version, it won't be seeing any updates and in fact will be delisted altogether with the release of the new console edition of the game. If you own the game already, you'll still be able to download it and install it, or play it via the disc if you own it physically, but moving forward it won't be available to purchase digitally anymore. For those of you who already own the digital copy of the Legacy Edition, there's still a hint you may qualify for a digital discount on the new console edition when it releases, though this isn't concrete just yet. It also goes without saying that this new console edition of the game is an entirely separate entity from the previous Legacy version, and with that, the previous console version owners will need to upgrade to the newer edition to receive ongoing support and updates. As the new edition is a separate product, this also means that save game data and existing DLC content won't be carried over either, with the legacy version eventually being delisted. In the FAQ, the Fun Pimps did also specify that they had no plans to port the console edition to any other platforms outside of PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, leaving players on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One consoles all out of luck for now, though they are looking into other platforms. And for those of you who've been requesting 7 Days to Die ported over onto Switch, I wouldn't hold your breath. At launch, the console edition will also have some limitations in terms of features and functionality to be included in later updates too. The FAQ does outline a few of these limitations at launch, like no crossplay, no random world generation, and no level/world editor functionality. These features are planned for console release and will supposedly be implemented in a later update. As for random world generation, the console edition will launch with a selection of pre-generated random worlds included though, so it's not all bad. Unfortunately for console players, there will also be no split screen functionality as there was on the legacy version for the new console edition, with technical limitations and memory restrictions being cited as the reason for this in the FAQ. It is a shame to be losing the local split screen feature, as it is a hugely popular addition to the game within the console community and something I had enjoyed myself way back in the day playing on console. It'll definitely be missed by those who played at home with friends and family. An interesting and probably pretty obvious point about update parity was also addressed, suggesting the console version of the game will receive exactly the same updates the PC version would, with one caveat. If in the future an update contains a feature that isn't possible due to hardware restrictions or limitations, or doesn't pass certification with Microsoft or Sony, it won't be released for the console, breaking the parity that's been focused on so frequently when discussing the new console edition. This point is definitely a rock and a hard place situation for the Fun Pimps though, with console players likely to complain about missing features in comparison to PC, and on the flip side, the likelihood of PC players to complain if features are scrapped entirely for all versions due to limitations of the console hardware. Onto the topic of modding, I had previously stated that mods won't be supported on console because many mods do require installation client-side, and without the means to download and install mods on consoles, this simply wouldn't be possible. However, the Fun Pimps seem to think it might be. In the FAQ, they do mention they are looking into how this might be possible, though nothing is concrete just yet. Another glaring issue with mods is the probability that they can contain errors and bugs that may impact users' saved games, which is a huge barrier to certification approval for console updates. So how they would implement mods in the console ecosystem is a tough problem to solve. On a similar note, I also got the Xbox Game Pass prediction wrong too, with the legacy version already being available on Xbox Game Pass as well as the PC version. I assumed it would be a sure thing the new console version would also get the same treatment. Despite this, the FAQ also confirmed 7 Days to Die will be leaving Game Pass in April, and there are no plans to re-implement the new console edition to Game Pass anytime soon. Though they did mention they are exploring all possible avenues for the future with Microsoft, so maybe it's not completely off the table for the future. That's pretty much it for the news around the release of version 1.0 for PC and console. I'd be interested to hear what you think about the change from alpha to full release with post-released updates, as well as changes to the pricing and roadmap for the future. If you found this video useful, leave a like and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on what comes next in 7 days. And if you enjoyed this video, why not check out one of my other videos on screen now.